Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been away for a while. I had to take a break, but I am back here with actually another deck profile. I've been kind of playing the game while I was away, and the last time I know I said I was going to bring you guys a Malomyotismon deck profile, but that deck profile wasn't exactly how I was imagining it to be. I think it'll be better with set 4, so I'll try it again later. But for now, I am bringing you my favorite green deck I've been playing right now, and we did best of ones on Monday on my locals. It didn't pan out. I mean, I got 2-1. I went 2-1, and then the guy who I ended up losing to had literally security of the deck, security shenanigans. The deck is what I like to call it. I don't think the community has given it a name yet though. So, but hopefully you guys can tell just based off of who the babies are what I'm playing. Not Sarismon, and it's not Imperial Dramon Green Dragon mode. Just based off of that, I hope you guys figured it out just by off of those. Anyway, let's get into the deck profile and we'll kind of go through who we're running and why we're running it. First of all, Argomon. A lot of download in the deck. Digiabsorption. I hate, so I just call it download. A lot of download in the deck. So on your unsuspend phase, get the extra memory. No brainer for that extra baby. Minomon, our boss monster likes to swing into dudes. So once we swing into your opponent's Digimon and whatnot, you're gonna want that extra 1,000 power, especially with that piercing on it. So again, we'll get into it soon. Pretty standard. Actually, my lineup is a little weird. On the green rookies, I don't play Tentomon. I don't play any other green rookie, simply for the fact that I want my cost to be extremely low as much as possible. So we play every single 2-drop that we possibly can find, except for Mushroomon. I prefer to play Arurumon, because of the 5,000 DP over the 2 cost. Because you'll never Digivolve on top of Arurumon, you will always hardcast it. So there is that. 4 Goblimon, 4 Argomon, 2 drops. 3 Agumon. This is the card that we want to Digivolve with the most on our babies. So hopefully you see that and whatnot. I see it about I would say most of my games. It's pretty much in my hand at least once or twice. But yeah, I really want to evolve on top of it because of who we're running. So far we got Minomon and Agumon. That's 2k. That's a 13k beat stick. And I gave it away there. But then we're running the blocker Woodmon, standard 4 blockers. I can't run Cherrymon yet. Don't really have a whole lot of room for it. Kabuterimon as our 1 cost to Digivolve. I want as much power on this Digimon as possible because he's not really exactly the strongest of the bunch, but he puts in the work with another specific combo card. Argomon for the free download, for the free Digivolution. Again, I'm going for cost efficiency here. That's why we play the rookies, and then we also play and then we evolve. We hardcast the rookies, tap them. Keep Digivolving as much as we can throughout the entire game. We get more cards out of our hand. We have more of a board presence. We can eventually kill our opponent by like turn. I did it, I think to my first opponent, I did it by turn 3. It was insane because he ended up getting me 6 memory, so I punished him for it. So let's see here. And then we got ourselves 3 Akuma. So that's it for our level 4s and our level 3s, obviously. We're going into our level 5s. So this is post. Oh, I just showed you guys who it was. So this is post ban list, by the way, just so you know. I'm gonna have to scroll down anyway, and so that's right. We're playing Restaurantmon. So we have 3 Akuamon in the deck, 1 Argomon, 4 Blossomon, and then I'll tell you why we're playing Akuamon over Stingmon. And then obviously we have the free ultimates for, you know, that download, that Digiabsorption, because I like free is good, and especially when your opponent sits there and coughs up 6 memory, and then you just I think you just unload. I think I unloaded my entire hand almost, and I ended up going from like 3 to 8 dudes on board. So he was dead next turn. Definitely dead. It's ridiculous. That's why I like the 2-drops. A lot more board presence and a lot more consistency, and your opponent doesn't get a chance to do anything. So for those long games, though, however, if we do go into those long games, if we have to, Rosemon is an underrated card. Here's why. So I had to go into one long game. The other game that I won was a bit of a longer game. Rosemon came out, and Rosemon was suspending dudes. Why? I was using Rosemon to download. I wasn't using Rosemon to attack. I made sure I had my attackers and everything all sorted out and whatnot. Sometimes I had to place a Kabuterimon underneath Rosemon, but you know, c'est la vie. You can't draw into the best hands all the time. It is what it is. But Rosemon put in a ton of work, guys. Like I'm telling you, she is very underrated. Literally, I was able to save my board state twice because of her. My opponent was still swinging. I tap down, swing, tap down, swing, tap down. So it's like you can have Rookie Rush. It's good against Rookie Rush. It's good against aggro deck. It's good against the jamming decks. It's really good against Ult Force Feedramon. Yeah, very underrated card. 3 Rusty Boys. This is why we run Akuamon over Stingmon. Stingmon says once per turn. Akuamon says multiple times per turn, or you can do it as many times as you want. That's why we run the Akuamon over the Restaranimon. I really like Restaranimon. I think he's a really good card. He does require just a little bit too much setup though to actually be kind of reverent, and this was my way of trying to make him as competitive as possible. The Rosemon is in there to do that, to help him be more competitive. That way, if you have to do the setup and you have to pull out the long game, you can. But again, if you open up the nuts and you get hidden potential discovered in your first few draws, like I did, then yeah, the hand is completely broken, and you literally get a free Restaranimon out on board. Very, very good. I like him. Mega Gargomon put in some work. I didn't get a chance. I used him maybe a couple times, but when he was out there, he was out there. He suspended the Digimon I needed him to suspend. He did his job. That's why I run Mega Gargomon. Boncho Stingmon. It happened, y'all. It happened. I run one Mega Boncho Stingmon to get rid of Omnimon. Literally the only reason why I play Boncho Stingmon. I think it's a good card. There's a lot of people who do like it as well. Boncho Stingmon, he's your Omnimon killer. Then the spiciness of the spicy. Everybody knows this combo, should know this combo if you played this game long enough already. Dimension Scissor along with Restaranimon and Akuamon underneath. If you get 3 Digimon attack off on board, you get your cost back for that card, and you can keep going and extend your plays 4 days. It is insane how much power that this one copy of Dimension Scissor has in the entire deck. I love it. It's great. It's funny. It's hilarious. Just to watch your opponent go, oh, I lose. But they don't actually say that. It's obviously their face that just kind of changes to go, oh, that's kind of gross. Like I did it to somebody who didn't know about this combo, and it's always a pleasure to sit there and do that to somebody when they don't realize, like, oh, I didn't realize this is what it did. Dimension Scissors is a very good card, in my opinion. I think it should be utilized in more decks. You can actually utilize it pretty well. So if you, okay, so kind of real talk there for a second with Dimension Scissor. So if you're looking to try and do something along these lines, if you're still doing trying to find a way to keep, breaking Dimension Scissor, Imperial Digimon Green is a good way to do it. Imperial Digimon Green, or the new Kabuterimon from the next set, from the starter deck, the Hercules Kabuterimon. He won't be a bad idea. any piercer essentially, and even yes, even Grand Kowagamon is a good idea. The reason why I choose Rust over those guys is that he can attack unsuspended Digimon as long as you have a green tamer on board. So as long as you have your Mimi and you have your Taiga, guess what? It's fair game. It's not good for your opponent if they see Taiga. If the moment that they see Taiga, they're gonna try and they kind of panic a little bit. Most of the time, the moment you throw down Taiga, they start to panic just a little. So on to the final few cards of the deck. Pairs Cluster. I don't like Flower Cannon. Why I don't like Flower Cannon, I don't know. I know it's a good card. It can save people in security while it's sitting in security. I personally don't like the card. I think you can, yeah, sure. You commit to memory, tap down an opponent's Digimon, and then swing. If I have the proper setup, I don't need Flower Cannon for Rust Tyrannomon. In Rust Tyrannomon, I don't like it. In other green decks, however, I do like it, if that makes sense. Okay. I think in Rust Tyrannomon, it's not needed as long as you have the green tamer out. Just saying. Terror's Cluster is fantastic. I think it's an underrated card as well. There's another card in blue that a lot of people like to run that I don't personally like to run. Sorry if you though all of a sudden the volume went down on my mic. And it hopefully got better actually, because it was the thing was picking up. Anyway, is whatchamacallit, Cocytus Breath, sorry. I couldn't think about that for a second. Cocytus Breath in blue. I think Cocytus Breath is the worst removal of the game. I know it can potentially save somebody. If it's in security, it's not a bad card, but it's gotta be in security for me, or I just don't like it. Sitting there committing 7 on board to sit there and put an opponent's card back to their hand, I don't know about that. Committing 7, however, Millenniumon is obviously a better card. It doesn't need to be suspended. Your opponent's Digimon doesn't need to be suspended, and it can send it back. However, with Terrace Cluster and the Mega Gargomon combo, this card is actually a lot better now. You go Mega Gargomon, swing into, you don't worry about their Digimon. If you only have Mega Gargomon in hand, play Gargomon, tap it down, swing. They don't get to unsuspend next turn. Next turn, you happen to have a Terrace Cluster in hand, or you draw, or your opponent swings into it. Guess what happens? See you later. It goes to the bottom of the deck, and the Digivolution cards underneath are gone. So, I mean, say what you want about Terrace Cluster. I think it's a good card. I think the commitment for 7 to send Digimon away for good is a lot better. Well, not almost for good. If you do get to the bottom, if your opponent does get to the bottom of their deck, then I think you might be in a little bit of trouble. And the game shouldn't have lasted that long, to be honest, in this deck. Ever. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah, Hidden Potential discovered. We all know why. It's broken. This card is a very broken card. Again, this is post-ban list. One of the Argomon Ultimate, one of the Hidden Potential discovered, because Bandai has limited it. I think Hidden Potential is actually a brick card. If you have multiple in hand and you have nothing to do with it, I don't think it should have been limited to, I think it should have been limited to 2, to be honest. 4 is way too much in a deck. I wouldn't even play 4 to begin with in the first place. My luck is just so bad sometimes with these kind of cards that sorry, my dog was whining. My luck is so bad with these kind of cards sometimes that I just potentially just draw into them. So a lot of my decks don't have a whole lot of options unless it's purple. This is probably one of my few decks that have probably as much as like my red deck does, and my red deck has 4 Gaia Forces. And I will do a red deck profile probably within this week too. These videos are pretty easy to do, and now it seems like you guys enjoy them. So then our tamers, 2 Taiga, standard for any Rust Tyrannomon deck. Yumi Tachikawa. She excels your plays along with your 2-drop rookies, and literally gets you, and she's game winning. She's absolutely game winning. And I think, and she's still one of the best tamers, if not the best tamer in the entire damn game. This deck's really fun. I suggest if you guys haven't tried it yet, give it a shot. And if you feel like you need to change something up, by all means do it. Let me know in the comments like what you would change. For me, if I were actually to change something, I like it this way. I'm personally not going to change anything, but if I could change something, I would probably try and somehow mitigate the blockers and put in 2 Cherrymon and move out the Woodmon. I would probably only have like 2 Cherrymon though. I would only have like maybe a total of 2 blockers in the deck. And a lot of people are probably like, oh, get rid of Terrace Cluster. I don't want to get rid of Terrace Cluster. I'll never get rid of Terrace Cluster. I think Terrace Cluster is a great card. But yeah. Is it fantastic? Probably not in a lot of people's standards, a lot of competitive standards. Again, my deck profiles are, I will try and put out competitive ones eventually. Right now I'm just having a lot of fun with the game, and I am trying to get into competitive stuff. I haven't competed. I only competed in one I won't call it a webcam tournament. I did not do very well because it was a toolbox idea. With the deck that I had, it was like a red-green Gallantmon Tyrannomon Pierce deck. It just didn't do very well. I wasn't drawing in anything that I needed. It just kind of bricked whenever I didn't need it to be fair. So I think the next deck I will do, if you guys want to see my version of a competitive deck, and actually do something with it, is I might just go ahead and throw up a red Omnimon deck here next. Right now I'll show you guys my fun red deck that utilizes Greymon, a lot of Greymon, and then the other one that I'm going to do is an actual competitive, if I were to actually compete with red, what I would do. And it's pretty simple. It's just speed up your entire deck and play Omnimon. I don't know how else you played red. And I just don't find those decks to be very fun. I know competitive is not meant to be fun. It's meant to be competitive. You're not supposed to there's a whole lot of sayings that go behind it, but I want to have at least a little bit of fun with competitive, right? And that's why I think that, green is probably the closest. Green Rust Tyrannomon is closest I'll get to fun and almost competitive. Not competitive, almost competitive. Rust Tyrannomon still suffers from being 11k and being a 4 and a lot of setup. 11k 4-cost setup. That is what Rust Tyrannomon suffers from. But yeah, guys, this is another deck profile here on the BuckwildBeast YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. Please let me know what you think. Please critique me with constructive criticism. I appreciate you all. Thank you again for hanging out and watching this video. I'll keep doing them as long as as long as you guys keep liking them. So, all right, guys. Till then, see y'all next time. Don't forget, we do stream on Twitch every so often, and I do talk about the game. Right now, we're playing Monster Hunter Rise, and it's just the same name as this channel, BuckwildBeast. Again, you guys can call me Buck, and I'll see y'all next time. Laters.